This is the ASUS RT-AX3000 Wi-Fi 6 router, and ASUS claims it'll give you blazing fast wireless speeds and rock-solid coverage. But after running it through real household tests, I found out there are things the ads don't tell you, especially if you've got thick walls or more than a couple of devices. Stick around, because I'm going to tell you if this router is worth your hard-earned cash. ASUS RT-AX3000 Wi-Fi 6 router product overview. So, what are we looking at? The ASUS RT-AX3000, also known in some markets as the RT-AX58U, is a mid-range dual-band Wi-Fi 6 router from ASUS. It's been around since about 2020, but it's still relevant thanks to firmware updates and its solid hardware. It's targeted at people who want better speeds than old Wi-Fi 5 routers, but without breaking the bank on a premium model. Think households with multiple streaming devices, gaming, and maybe some smart home stuff. Not a massive mansion, but better performance in homes or apartments. Its key selling proposition: you get Wi-Fi 6 features like OFDMA, 160 MHz channel support, ASUS AiMesh capability, and decent real-world throughput, all for a price that feels reasonable in the AX router segment. ASUS RT-AX3000 Wi-Fi 6 router. Performance. Okay, specs are one thing. How does it actually perform? Over a few weeks, I used the RT-AX3000 in a two-story house with thick walls, multiple devices, phones, laptops, streaming boxes, and a 1 gigabit internet connection. Close range. Same room, about 10 feet. With a Wi-Fi 6 2x2 client, I saw speeds approaching the 800 to 900 megabits per second on the 5 GHz band. That's solid. Mid-distance, across walls, different floor. Speeds dropped, as they must, but still stayed usable for 4K streaming, gaming, video calls, something like 600 to 700 megabits under good conditions. Also, latency remained low in normal usage, which was great for gaming. Pulling large files, backups, streaming, all felt reliable. One surprise, enabling the 160 MHz channel width gives better top speeds, but in many real-world environments, lots of networks nearby, you'll need to manually enable it, and not all devices support it well. Features and tech. Now let's talk about what makes it interesting, what you get beyond raw numbers. 160 MHz channel support. What it is? On the 5 GHz band, you can widen the channel to 160 MHz to get more throughput. Why you should care? If your devices support it, like some Intel AX200 or AX210, newer phones or laptops, this is how you squeeze more speed out, especially if you have a fast internet plan. The catch? More interference, and sometimes it's disabled by default. AiMesh compatibility. What it is? ASUS's mesh system. You can use more than one ASUS router to expand coverage. It's flexible. This router works well as the main unit or as a node. Dungnose Tech Plus tests show a pair can cover a significantly bigger area. Robust firmware and features. ASUSWRT. What it includes? QoS options, prioritize gaming or streaming, parental controls, security features, WPA3, AiProtection, USB 3.0 support for file or printer sharing, even a USB 4G modem backup option. Why you should care? These are not just checkboxes. In everyday life, having control over what traffic gets priority, so video calls don't lag when someone starts downloading, and security features matter. The USB backup and storage options add small but useful flexibility. Design and build. Aesthetics plus practicality. How does it feel in your home? Physically, the RT-AX3000 is modest in size, not tiny, but not beastly either. It has 4 external antennas, non-removable, that you can swivel to optimize signal direction. Materials feel solid, matte plastic, good venting. It doesn't feel budget cheap, though obviously you won't see fancy metal, RGB lighting, or gamer flash. Ports. 1 WAN gigabit port, 4 gigabit LAN ports, and 1 USB 3.0 Gen 1 port. Mounting. Rubber feet and holes for wall or ceiling mounting. So if you want to tuck it up or out of the way, you can. Pros. All right, so let's break down what I loved. Excellent Wi-Fi performance for its class. Fast speeds, especially close to the router. Feature-rich firmware. QoS, mesh support, USB backup, security. Very usable. 160 MHz channel gives you extra headroom if your devices support it. Compact and well-built with wall mount options, good for apartments or medium homes. Cons. But of course, nothing's perfect. There were a couple of things that bugged me. No multi-gig LAN or WAN ports. Everything caps at 1 gigabit wired, so if you have ultra-fast internet or plan huge LAN transfers, you're limited. Wi-Fi range drops off more sharply at distance or through very thick walls, not ideal for big houses without adding mesh nodes. 160 MHz mode is disabled by default, and not every client device support it well, so you might not get those top speeds immediately. Final verdict. So who is this for, and is it worth your money? If you're someone with a solid broadband connection, think 500 megabits to 1 gigabit, a few streaming devices, maybe some gaming, and you live in an apartment or a small to medium home, this router is a sweet spot. You get most of the modern Wi-Fi 6 perks without paying premium prices, and ASUS gives you software and firmware that feel mature and dependable.